is out. This is the final lap.
You're looking good. Careful, you'll melt the tires.
Welcome to Victory Lane. You made it.
Congratulations, you place first.
Now list your name with the other champions.
STP.
Hello guys and welcome back to the STPL. It's 2021, it's a new year, and it's basically just the same as last year so far. If anything, things have been even crazier, but we're here for the start of the STPL, obviously. We're back after the Christmas break. If you're wondering why we had a 2-week break, it's because if I'd have had them play the week before Christmas, I wouldn't have been able to cast it in time, and also it gives everyone a good period over the new year to have a break, and then come back and basically be here for whatever we need to see. So we got some good series coming up this week. It's week 5 of the STPL season 4, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks after this until we will be heading into the playoffs in around 7 weeks time. So we've got 5 weeks of constant STPL, then we'll have another week break so the teams can get ready for the playoffs, and then we'll take it from there. But format, if you've not seen the STPL before, we've got best of 5 the whole way through up until the finals. That may change in season 5 even. I might make it best of 5 even in the finals, but we'll see what happens. That's a long way away. The lineup's selected in advance and all the games are played at the same time in the first 4 sets. And set 5 is the ace match, which means if the teams are tied up 2-2, they will go head to head in game number 5, where any player can compete again. The top 3 teams will be the ones taking home the prize money at the end of the tournament. A massive shout out, of course, very quickly to our sponsors, Esport Fund, as well as MadiNho. MadiNho are a great platform. We actually made it into the top 100 partners for MadiNho. I completely forgot I was a partnered tournament organizer, but I am, and I made it into the top 10. So that's all thanks to you guys and the community contributions we've had, as well as, of course, our sponsors. We only had 2 events in 2020, but we raised $1,163 on average per event. And MadiNho have given us a code for Season 4 as well. If you use the code STPL S4, you can add 50 cents to the prize pool completely free. We're currently $665 off of our $2,000 prize pool goal. And we are currently $1,665 off the goal to free the Dodal. So it's pretty cool. But there we go. If you want to free the Dodal, you got to get that money up for season. Like the $1,000 at the end, 2,000 will be the essentially 2,000 will be going towards season 4, and then the next 1,000 will go to season 5. Looks like my overlay isn't loading, but there we go. Here we go. Here is the team standings. It's been a while since we've seen the STPL, so let's have a look. Seoul out in front. They've already lost 2 games this season, though, which is higher than they lost the entirety of last season. Wiko in second, closely followed by Naz. NetWars not too far behind in terms. Well, they're actually tied in match score with Wiko and Naz, but they are 9 for 9, so they've got a +0 difference. Closely following them, tied on 2 for 2, is Ash, iRk, and Red, with only a couple of games difference between them. Of course, the top 6 teams will be advancing out of the group, out of the round robin stage, so it's going to be very important for those. And then just in 8th, 9th, and 10th, you have Clan Revolution, DM, and Psystorm. Now, Clan Revolution have a chance to come back, so do DM and Psystorm, but DM and Psystorm especially are going to find themselves in a very uphill struggle, but they have played against the better teams so far, so we'll see if they can make their comeback. We saw it last season from Clan Revolution. Can they do it again? Today we'll be having a look at, of course, 2 of those teams, but having a look at the player table as well. There's our top 10 in the STPL ELO rankings. Unfortunately for Koga, he dropped quite a bit. That allowed DeWalt a way of getting above him. You can see just the sheer number of games that DeWalt has won is just ridiculous. He's won 57, and then Kogat's won 48 as well. Like, both of them are doing incredibly, incredibly well. But the one thing that amazes me about DeWalt has appeared in 12 ace matches, and he's won 9 out of 12, which is just completely ridiculous. He's won 3/4 of all of his ace matches, 2/3. That's madness. He's so good. But that's the top 10 for the STPL. Let's have a look at the 2 teams we're going to be seeing today. Starting us off here is going to be Psystorm. Psystorm, as I said, have been struggling a little bit this season, but they still have a chance of coming back. But if they want to come back, they're going to have to win today. Because they are currently 0-4. There is 6 weeks left. If they go 0-5, then unless the other teams all lose a lot of games in a row, it's going to be hard for them to breach the top 6. But still, Psystorm always come out. They always put on a good performance, and they always give us a good set of stuff going on. Anonymous, the total status is, if we get to $3,000 on the prize pool for this season, I'll put $1,000 towards next season's prize pool from that, and that will be the free the doodle fund. There we go. There we go. Crowdfunding freeing the doodle. That's what we're doing. We need to prove we don't need corporate sponsors, otherwise I don't want to free the doodle. But either way, let's have a look at their opponents. It's one of the best teams in the STPL. It's iRk. iRk this season, 2 for 2. Not quite on the same level as they usually are in terms of wins, but they still have a very strong roster. It looks like today, or at least this week, they've kind of filled their normally incredibly strong roster with a few extra players. Ruskig coming in for a 2nd game of the STPL. Agge, their coach, coming in. He's ended up with a ZVZ to start us off with. So that's going to be cool to see how he's going to do. We've not seen him play in the STPL, I think, in over 2 years, maybe. We'll see it when we get to his player stats. But vOddy coming back as well. He's been doing really well. He's been losing, but he's been giving us really good games this season. And then, of course, MadiNho swapping over from Rev at the end of last season. Doing well so far here. Let's have a look at the lineups and the matchups we're going to be seeing today. Starting us off, we're going to have a ZVZ between Prase and Agge. That should be a lot of fun. That's going to be on Tears of Goddess. We're going to have Michael versus vOddy. That's going to be on Blindside. That's a TvP. Then we're going to have my favorite matchup, a TvT between 1A, 2A, 3A and MadiNho on Pathfinder. And then we're going to have a ZVP between Cold and Ruskig on Game 4. And then, of course, if we are tied up 2-2, we will be heading on to Rosenbridge, one of the weirdest maps in probably Brood Wars history, I would say. But it's very, very fun. We've had some very good games on it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to play out in future. Now, let's have a look at our first player here. I kind of want to go through the player histories here just because we are doing one series. Now, Prase, unfortunately, he hasn't done very well in terms of wins, but he usually shows us really interesting games. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he is going to do. Having a look at Agge is the one I wanted to see. Yeah, so we haven't seen Agge play in the STPL since the 3rd of June, 2018. That is the last time he played in the STPL. That was over 2 years ago, right? Yeah, that was over 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago, that was. Crazy. Here he is. He stepped in for someone who had to sub out at the last minute, representing his team here, trying to lead from the front. The map we're going to be going into is Tears of Goddess. We've only had one. We've not had a ZVZ here so far. We haven't had too many games on this map so far. This is going to be the first week. I think it's going to be the second week we'll see it as like the first map. But it's going to be cool to see some games on here anyway. It's kind of like Luna, if you've seen Luna. The base layout's kind of, in a weird way, like La Mancha, because you have the bridges, but then obviously that was inspired by Luna as well. So, without further ado, let's get into game number 1. It's Agge versus Prase on Tears of Goddess. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom right-hand corner, fighting for pSi. It's Prase from Bulgaria. And his opponent spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of this CVZ, it's Agge fighting for iRk from Sweden. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how both of these guys play ZVZ. I have to say, I've not seen many of Agge's games other than the ones he's played with me, just because I'm not really ever around to catch when he's streaming. But Agge, if you don't know him, he's been a player since Vanilla. Even after Brood War came out, he stayed playing Vanilla for a few years, if I remember correctly. He was one of like the only members of one of the remaining Vanilla clans back in the day. And playing against him essentially in ZVT, obviously ZVZ is going to be a bit different. We've got one player, Agge, going for an 11 pool, and we have a 9 pool 9 gas by Prase. iRk was the Vanilla clan back in the day, arguably the strongest one. But yeah, Agge and ZVT, like, I played a practice game against him recently because I've not played in forever, and the one base I didn't scout, he hit a base in there. Like, he hides bases, he drops, he does everything that could be like the most annoying playstyle in the world to play against. And it's just his style, and he's really good at it. But I don't really feel that that's going to equate too well in ZVZ, but we'll have to see, because he used to play ZVZ before Mutalisks were even a thing in Brood War, or before they were even a thing in Vanilla. Like, people just... Well, actually, no, they were really powerful in Vanilla. But I don't know if ZVZ was fully Muta versus Muta back then, and if it was, there was no Muta micro, so it was more about pure macro. You obviously had some Hydra users as well back then. That was a very long time ago. Obviously, he's not going to go for anything too crazy, but we've got the first lings out on the map for Prase. Agge going for a quick expansion. Going to see if he can gain some economic advantage a little bit sooner, whereas Prase is going for his lair. I guess depending on how you say, or what you can count to being a proxy hatch. This is technically a proxy hatch because it's not in his main. But I guess we won't do that. But Prase getting ready to push up the ramp. Looks like Agge going to fall back. Does need to set up that ling wall. But does need to be very careful because doesn't want to lose his hatchery. Doesn't want to lose too much health on it either. So he's going to be kind of jostling for position at the top of this ramp. When he gets a few more lings, he might push down, but Prase, as we can see from the minimap, is continuing to reinforce this. So Agge is going to have to make sure that he keeps his ling count up, that he keeps building lings as well, and that he saves his hatchery. His hatchery is going to be incredibly important. Looks like Prase has switched. Again, I forgot to DND myself, but oh well. You know what, I'm surprised they're like... I think I know what they do. They've got like a notification, but yeah. Either way, so we've got the lings fended off for Agge. Prase not going to be worried too much about that because he is going into his spire a little bit quicker. Lair coming up for Agge, obviously a lot later. This means we could possibly see an Evo chamber coming in from Agge, but for now, Agge's got his ling speed. He's going to go for a counter And it looks like Prase doesn't have any lings back here. He's got a creep colony coming in, but this isn't going to be enough. Now, if Agge can kill the gas as well, that would be very good. Looks like he's going to push into the mineral line. The lings doing a pretty good job defending against this, though. There wasn't many lings there, but they did a lot of damage. So very, very nicely done by Prase on that defense. The Spunkin is coming in. Agge was not flooding lings behind this, but looks like, oh, Prase's ling wins with 1 health, and Agge's attack has been foiled. Now Prase is still down a lot in supply. It's 15 supply against 8. So Agge does have some more lings back at home. They're not quite coming over the map just yet, but they will be heading soon. The 8 Evo chamber coming in. We should see some spore colonies coming up as well. And Agge finds himself at a 3 drone lead. So Prase is definitely in a little bit of trouble here. With the muteless coming out, that's all fine and dandy, but his economy is not there to support mass mutas. He's not even, I think he's just about going to be able to afford 3 mutas. When, like, okay, he's not even going to afford 3 mutas to begin with. He's going to have to wait for one of them. And here we go. Here comes more lings coming in from Agge. The first mutas, of course, are on the way, but they're not going to be ready. And oh my goodness, he's going to get the gas. With no gas, you've got no Scourge, you've got no Mutalisks. And Agge's not going to have to worry about that either, or not going to have to worry about the spores or anything like that. He's going to build them anyway, just to be safe. But he is pretty much secure in his base right now. Prase is incredibly far behind. Now Agge going to push forward, gets 1 drone, gets 2 drones, gets 3 drones. Can he get a 4th? Yes, he can. Prase down to 2 drones. Prase is in such a poor position right now. He has to build 3 drones if he wants to come back, but that means he's not building any attacking units. And Agge has his expansion. This game is pretty much done. Prase is on a clock right now, and even losing this Overlord is going to be massive, massive damage. Obviously, he saves it, but there's going to be a muteless coming out soon that will kill that. A single Scourge could kill that now as well. And Agge is just in an incredible position. Agge not even going to worry about going for mutas. He's just building mass ling. He is going to go for a big counter, knowing that his opponent, if he wants to come back in the game, is either going to go all in, which without Aspire he cannot do, or go for mass drones. Now it looks like we are going to trade an Overlord for an Overlord here, although the Overlord for Prase has got away for the time being. But here come the lings once again. Another 2 drones have gone down in the making of this. The sunken colony, all that stands between Prase and death. Another drone goes down. The drone's doing a valiant effort trying to keep this alive, but unfortunately down to 5 drones again. Spire is back up, but no economy. A single drone being left out in the middle of nowhere here, as he is a little bit focused. Well, he's very, very focused on his mutas right now. He's trying to find any form of damage he can. He's even going for lings at this point because he just needs to stop Agge from being able to attack him, but I think this is going to be it. There's not really too much else that can be done here for our pSi Zerg player. He's playing valiantly, holding on, but his mutas are going to start falling to the spore. And I mean, we're about to have mutas and Scourge and everything they could possibly need coming from Agge's 2 hatcheries here. And there we go, the Scourge coming in, getting another one. Prase leaves the game. GG. Agge is the winner of game number 1. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 2. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2. It's going to be a TvP between Michael and vOddy. We're going to have both of them playing here on Blindside. This is going to be the third PvT we've had. Protoss have not won a game here so far against Terran, with Radley taking down Dragon and Koga taking down Dreamer in previous weeks. But is Michael going to be able to keep the dreams, the power of Protoss alive, or is vOddy, the Swedish terror, going to come in here and twist the knife, giving iRk a 2-0 lead? Let's find out as we get into game number 2. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the Swedish Terran fighting for iRk with the Protoss music again. It's vOddy. Cursed to forever listen to Protoss music, that's me. And spawning us down here with the music, the anthem of his species. It's Michael, the Bulgarian Protoss player, fighting for pSi. I shouldn't complain about the Protoss music, it's still good. It just doesn't have that impact, you know. I've said this before, but there's no impact to the Protoss themes. Same with the Zerg ones. But still, it's all good. We've finally got a well, we've got a Terran playing, because Season 1, there was like 2 Terrans in the entire tournament. Season 2, there was a few more, but still not that many. Season 3 we had a lot more, and Season 4 we've had even more, so I'm finally getting some Terran games to cast, which is really, really cool. Even when you look back at when I was casting the Clash for Char, there was only really 3 Terran players that took part. 4 maybe. You had Scan, Shiny, Terra, and Dragon. Not Dragon, sorry. What am I thinking of? Dandy. Dandy, that's who I'm thinking of. But yeah, it is cool to see Terrans. Lucky Noob saying it's cool to see when they lose. I don't agree, but we can agree to disagree on that one, I guess. Big shout outs once again to our sponsors, eSport Fund and Liquipedia. Not Liquipedia, sorry, that was last season. eSport Fund and MadiNho for making this event possible. Unfortunately, Liquipedia decided they couldn't fund tournaments monetarily anymore, so we ended up not having their sponsorship this season. But it's all good. MadiNho and eSport Fund, especially MadiNho and MadiNho for offering such a good platform, and eSport Fund for just being so damn generous. If you don't know much about the eSport Fund, they're essentially a group of people who all got together to essentially set up a fund to fund tournaments. I think it was like over $20,000 they had to give away. And just recently for ASTL Season 2, the Africa Team League Season 2, they've sponsored Flash's team. He'll be, well, they've already played under the banner of eSport Fund, but they're going to be playing again very soon when the main tournament starts. So, kind of crazy that that's happening. We've got a foreign company, essentially, well, not company, but a foreign donor sponsoring a Korean team as well. It's really, really cool. But so far, everything looking pretty normal. We've got a one Rax gas coming in from vOddy, so he's going to be going for... Okay, so he's actually going to go for a... He went for an early gas, but he didn't start mining it fully, so before he goes for a factory, he's going to go for his expansion. Now, he does have good SimCity, he does know what his opponent's doing, and he sees range coming in. So he knows he's pretty safe, so this isn't too bad of a decision to make. He will need to make sure he builds a bunker or something at the front, though. Looks like the Marines chasing the probe. Very, very nice pick off there. Nice micro as well. vOddy keeping his Marines split, making it harder for the probe to get away. and you'll see that here comes the SCV to build that bunker. As I mentioned before, this just kind of helps him delay a little bit for when the ranged goons come to his base, because he will be away off siege mode. He could of course choose to go for mines first. That is a relatively common opening these days. It never used to be as much just because it was so hard to do, but definitely not too bad, especially on a 2-player map. Allows you to take a relatively quick third, because it's very unlikely that the Protoss will go for very, very quick observers on a 2-player map. Looks like Michael getting ready to expand as well. Now if you don't know this, Michael actually streams quite a lot on Twitch. Whenever I look at who's online on Twitch, he's usually streaming. So if you ever want to watch him play, you can go watch him firsthand at his stream. I think he's like Michael_BG, if I remember correctly. vOddy I'm not too sure about if he streams, but vOddy is definitely one of the more old school Swedish players. He's been playing forever. He's really, really good. We've got the first armory coming in. Probably going to set himself up for a 2-1 timing attack here. The armory is also good to get some Goliaths early on against shuttles. Not a problem there. Now vOddy's scouting around here. He's been doing a very, very diligent job of scouting and looking for proxies. And that is such an important thing to do. We've seen proxies on this map so far. I believe iRk have had in-house tournament games on these maps as well, so they've got experience with them, and also they've had the 4 weeks prior as well. But this is why you go for like the bunker, but interestingly enough, he's standing a little bit too far forward. His range not done yet. It is, but he can't quite get the distance right. It's because of this barracks. This is really clever. The barracks make it very hard to sit and hold position and just make it all hit the bunker. So you can see that he's going to be able to keep his bunker alive a little bit easier. Now we do have siege mode coming in, so it is going to be a siege an expansion into siege. No academy upgrades, so we're not going to have any cool bio play, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not very often foreign Terran players do that. I think the only player I've seen do that recently is... who was it? Was it Terra? Oh, we had a building cancel there when it was scouted. I didn't actually click on it quick enough to know what it was, but I'm assuming it was a Citadel, which is why it was cancelled. Because if it was a Robo, there's no way you'd cancel it in that situation. But then if it's a Citadel, why would you cancel it in front of the SCV? He's going to go triple gate here. Like, if anything, you'd kill the SCV and then cancel it, so they're kind of forced to go and try and deal with Dark Templar, but I don't know. I should have clicked the building a little bit sooner. And look at this, we have a scan on top of where that building was, just to make sure there's nothing else. He also saw the pylon when he was scouting his base, so he knows to check there for any possible hidden tech. Nicely placed scan there, by the way. Third base coming in for Michael. Everything looking pretty good, pretty strong so far for both players. And we're kind of at that weird stage in TvP where sometimes the game is just quiet, nothing really happens. And this could be a good chance to ask people how their Christmas and their New Year went, or their Hanukkah, or their Kwanzaa. Although I don't think I've ever met anyone in real life that celebrated Kwanzaa before. So I don't know how people celebrate that. I cannot lie, I have no idea. I was lucky enough to be off work on New Year's Eve, so I jumped on VR chat at like 2 PM and celebrated Japanese New Year at 12 AM, well, at 3 PM, and then my own New Year at 12 AM. Oh, Kwanzaa was a made-up holiday and it didn't stick. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was a genuine holiday. I never even thought it might be a gag. Okay, so Robo coming in. It's 4 gateways already. That's quite a decent number of gateway units being pumped out already by Michael. But the tech is very, very late. So, like, if vOddy had mines right now, which he should have from his upgrades. No, they're only just started. If he had mines, Michael would be in a lot of trouble here because he's got no detection. He's got no way of really telling... no way of telling where the mines are, where the vultures would be either. So he would be under a lot of pressure, but... looks like given vOddy has delayed everything so much, He did go for those Goliaths as well. He's actually got a good Goliath wall around the edge of his base. He's got 5 Goliaths already. This is definitely going to help him push. But I think we're going to be a while off pushing. We've got +1 attack already done. Looks like we don't have a Starport or a Citadel. So this is just going to be a fast 1-1 push rather than a 2-1 push, which is kind of weird. It's a 6 fact on 2 base. So it is a relatively all-in attack. I guess he's going to push. Now he's got +1 attack. He's not going to wait for 1 armor, but obviously getting that upgrade anyway, still useful. And this is going to be a strong timing. And Michael is going to have absolutely no idea this is coming until now. He's building a pylon in the middle of the map. This could be for scouting, and it also could be for a proxy gateway or something. Now, he does see the units. But realistically, what's he have to defend against it? Looks like vOddy's units are just going to run around the middle. Looks like he is going to scan ahead to see where his opponent's army is. Michael has absolutely no idea until the units are pretty much right outside of his base. And this third base is going to be under siege here, and this is going to be a very difficult position for Michael to be in. Delaying the observers definitely going to cause him a lot of grief. There's not many vultures here and not many mines though. So if we have a look at the back, the zealots actually getting on top of the tanks here. Where are the vultures? They're just not here whatsoever. We have some units stuck on the pylon in the middle of the map. That's definitely helped a little bit. But still, there's a lot of blue goo here. And Michael is still in a very awkward position. It's not sponsored by Shinhan Bank. It is a parody. And looks like more and more blue goo is going to be spawning out of these Dragoons as they are going to be up against tanks on the high ground. Very good positioning by Michael, by vOddy even. He's not in a position to attack the Nexus. Now he is. But I mean, Michael can't get there. He's got no observers still, so he can't deal with the mines. He's got no speed zealots either. Speed is not even halfway done. And this third base is 100% going to die here. There's absolutely nothing he can do. And he just doesn't have any units. He's got 80 supply, and he's got 52 probes. A load of zealots came out. They don't have speed. They cannot deal with these vultures. And every single one of these vultures is going to die here, and there's absolutely nothing Michael can do about it. vOddy is just too strong. This map, the map name is actually in the top left-hand corner of the screen, but it is called Blindside. It was made by Minerals for the STPL Season 4 map contest we held before the season, but I mean, Michael can afford to lose some probes. He has managed to save his Nexus for the time being, but it's going to be going down very, very soon. Speed is finally done for the Zealots. But it doesn't matter, they're coming out single file. And that's it. GG, Michael taps out. And vOddy takes iRk up. A quick 2-0 lead. Now we're going to be back in just a second with game... Well, it'll be probably a few minutes with game number 3. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going into game number 4. It's iRk versus pSi. iRk are currently 2-0 up, and we're going to be heading into the first TvT on Pathfinder in the STPL in over 2.5 years, which is kind of crazy. The last and only TvT we've ever had on this map was between a member of SK Alpha, no sorry, that was SK Bravo, and Team Liquid Staff. Both teams have not existed in the STPL since Season 1, and that was a long time ago. I cannot believe how old the last game was that was played on this in TvT, but TvT on this map is very, very fun. Looking forward to seeing how it's going to go. We've got 1A, 2A, 3A versus MadiNho. Let's get into it. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the green Terran player fighting for iRk. It's the Viking Terran himself. It's MadiNho. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner in the orange. Fighting for pSi, it's 1A, 2A, 3A. Although if Artosis was to be believed, and a lot of Terran players, he should be playing Protoss with a name like that. Am I right? Or am I right? Yeah, this is going to be TvT. It's my favourite matchup on one of my favourite maps of all time, so I'm kind of glad to be able to see this game. MadiNho's TvT is top class as well, so I really, really hope we get a long TvT. I've not seen a long TvT in a very, very long time, so being able to see one here would be very, very fun. I would assume, based on previous games I've seen on this map, TvTs I've played on this map as well, we'll see both players going for relatively standard openings. So the one important thing in TvT, and we're going to go into the mode where we can see the whole map, there is this cliff here behind the natural, and if you put tanks here, they can hit the mineral line. So one of the bonuses that MadiNho does have, due to positioning, is he can move his tanks down here, through this corridor here, down, and behind if he wants to. Now, 1A, 2A, 3A has the ability to do stuff like that as well, but he's going to need to go for drops or walk a little bit further. Dropships on this map, very, very strong because your mains are kind of like in an island in the middle of the map. It's very reminiscent of, if you remember the map, well, I mean, Prase was very reminiscent of this map, but it was a two-player Pathfinder kind of. This map archetype, where you have kind of like the islands in the middle that you can walk off of, like the semi-islands I guess you'd call them, it's actually one of my favourite map archetypes. The maps like this are usually very cool. There was a map that was nearly put into ASL Season 8, I think it was, called Red October, and that was a really, really sick map. And look at MadiNho's micro, by the way. Look at this. The Viking King dropped his crown due to that the marine micro there, but he'll pick it right back up. Both players going for a factory. Looks like we do have 2 marines against 1 for MadiNho, but the second one could have been on the way. Yeah, it is 2 marines. So both players only going to go for 2, not going to bother with the third. The SCV by MadiNho does get in to scout the fact that the gas has been mined and the SCVs have been pulled off, so he knows his opponent is going to be going for an expansion. We can see from his side as well that he is also going for a command center. And we're kind of setting us up for a nice early game of TvT here. Now the big question will be when they start mining gas again. Are they going to go for tank openings with a quick armory, or are they going to go for vultures and a starport? And you can also go for like tanks and a starport as well. Really, really fun build to play, and a really fun build to watch is where you go for siege. Well, you go for tanks early on, and then you go for 2-port Wraith after an expansion. That is a really, really fun way to play TvT. really, really fun to watch as well, but it's kind of not really the style we're used to from MadiNho, and I don't really know enough about 1A2A3A to be able to judge. But MadiNho is a very heavily dropship orientated player. Throughout the STPL, he became known to me at least as the Viking Terran, not only because he's from Norway, but also because he likes raiding people's bases with dropships. So there we go, that's his longboats. I think it was the game he played against Bjol, the ASL qualified player who qualified twice and won with nothing but dropship play. It was really astounding to watch. That was back in Season 3, and that was on Athena 2, so that was a really, really, really fun game. Was that Season 3 or was it Season 2? Trouble is, the STPL's been going on for 4 years now, and I'm finding it hard to remember which season was which. Especially given Season 1 lasted nearly 2 years itself, so it's a bit rough. Season 3 was basically, I think it started in like June last year. No, it started in... I think it started in August or September and finished... No, it must have been earlier in the year. I think that was it. I think it started in like January or February and ended in June. And then obviously we started Season 4 in September, or Season 4 in September. Like Season 3 was 13 weeks worth, no, I think it was 16 weeks overall worth of games, 11 weeks worth of group stage. And that's kind of the same as what we're going to have this time. But oh my god, the mines, oh! You don't want to be taking mines on your first tanks. Luckily enough, only one of them went off. The tanks did manage to focus fire down the other one. But losing 2 tanks this early, even losing that amount of health on the tanks, completely stops MadiNho's push here. He wanted to push forward, but now it's too dangerous. He doesn't know how many mines there are, and he can't push. Now he can push around the backside. I wonder if that's what he's going to do. He has his barracks in place to be able to be used as a spotter here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him go that way. But obviously if you're going to send all of your units down there, you leave the middle of the map open and leave yourself open to counterattacks from the Vulture count of 1A2A3A. He's going for 2 fact Vulture, 1 fact tanks. We have MadiNho with a starport going for a single Wraith into a control tower, gets the barracks, snaps the neck of that barracks there, and is going into 2 factory tank. For, well, possibly 2 factory tank most likely, but he could also go for obviously double Vulture upgrades as well. But we've got the second gas already up and mining for both players. 1A2A3 actually got his gas a lot sooner, so his gas is obviously a little bit higher. Both players actually do have a starport. There is a Wraith coming out for 1A2A3A. I wonder if this is kind of in retaliation to his opponent's Wraith, given the fact he doesn't have an armory just yet. It will finish, but he is going to lose 1 SCV at the very least. 3 kills on this Wraith already, by the way, which is pretty impressive for a Wraith this early on. Worker count, though, completely dead even. Both of the workers actually spawned at exactly the same time as well. Oh, this is rough. Pushing through minefields, very, very difficult, but looks like the Vultures of 1A2A3 are going to be able to do that fairly safely. Still no tanks going for a counterattack, but looks like we are going to lose a Marine in the middle, using that to clear up some of the mines. Now the one bonus 1A2A3A has here is he does, for the moment, have map control. And with map control, that allows you to secure the other main. Now in TvT, the other main on this map is so unbelievably important. There is 5 additional gas bases to the ones they already have. We have this one, which MadiNho is taking. We've got 1A2A3A taking the other. And we've got one just up here, which is essentially MadiNho's base. So MadiNho getting this one is a fairly big deal in terms of map control. And then of course you have the other main and the natural. But the first dropship does come in. Looks like he did only drop 2 of his Vultures, but does pull a lot of units back into the main base here. And looks like he is going to be coming in with his longboat, coming to attack the natural. Now, this is a little bit mistimed here by MadiNho. I don't know if he knows, well, he probably does know that the Vultures are in there, but I feel like he could have gone there a lot sooner. Because now these Vultures aren't really going to do anything. Oh, is he going to scout the third? Yes, he is. Never mind. The Viking always finds a way to pillage. And he kills the SCV. That's going to delay the third base, which was already behind his. His third is just about finishing up. Now, MadiNho is going to transfer SCVs through the middle of the map, completely unprotected. The only bonus he has, of course, is knowing that his opponent is far, far away, trying to defend his bases. Now, we do have a Wraith back here on the main base. He has to repair that because this Wraith is going to be incredibly important. Oh my goodness, he's going to start siege. Oh no, he's going to... Oh, this is so good by MadiNho. Sieging on the low ground, is in position to attack the starport, and he's actually going to be able to leapfrog his way into the main base here. The only Wraith, as I say that, another one spawns, but this Wraith is going to go down as well. No cloak is done. MadiNho is in such a good position already. This is such a good place to drop. Very well played here by MadiNho, playing to the strengths of the map. Now we do have some vultures coming in, but they will be attacking the tanks on the high ground while they are taking damage on the low ground. The starport is saved. The tanks are destroyed, but there is still a dropship here, and he can still push forward. Now the third base is done by 1A, 2A, 3A. No SCVs have been transferred over, and you'll see by the work account that MadiNho killed so many SCVs there. He's doubling his opponent's worker supply now, and that is not a position you want to be in TvT. Now TvT, you can come back from a situation like this as long as you build mass SCVs from as many command centers as you have, because it's very likely your opponent's going to stop building them at some point, and your units are very, very cost efficient. So looks like MadiNho going to continue to hold on to this position, not really push too far forward. He doesn't really want to try and drop into mines. He doesn't really know what's going on in his opponent's base, but he will have that ability to do so. We do have 4 factories coming in, going to be 3 factories most likely, building tanks, 1 building vultures for the time being. A 1A, 2A, 3A is going to have to make sure that he's building SCVs almost constantly here. Now we do have the barracks scouting out the Wraiths, pushing the barracks back here. With no scouting in that area, MadiNho is going to come down here with a dropship full of tanks. Now, unfortunately, for 1A, 2A, 3A, his Wraith was just a little bit too far away. MadiNho losing a Wraith as well, but 2 tanks down here, going to get into a position to put the hurt on the mineral line even more. Now, 1A, 2A, 3A has got a lot of gas banked here, and that is going to be his way back into the game. The SCVs, mining minerals, of course they are important, but at the end of the day, gas is the important resource in TvT. But you don't want to be caught with your pants down here. Looks like the SCVs, or the tanks, have killed 8 SCVs here. Only mining from the gas, once again, not the biggest deal. Building the depot up here, which will help protect his third base. Very nice building placement by 1A, 2A, 3. MadiNho doing the same thing here as well, but it does leave an open space up here, which... The trouble is with this, is it actually makes it harder to come back and defend drops. But this one specifically should be okay. But we've got tanks sieging down on the third base. Goliath moving forward. Tanks getting mined as well. The third base is forfeit. A 1A, 2A, 3A is finding himself getting positionally checkmated here, as MadiNho is just taking control of more and more quadrants on the map. Yeah, in case you don't follow American politics, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but Trump is the first president in the history of the United States of America to be impeached twice. And it's very likely he is going to get kicked out of office right now, which is very, very good. We would have only had to suffer another 8 days of Trump, but the faster we get rid of him, the better. All I can say is Trump is finally the best at doing something. He's the best at being impeached. Yeah, and he can't run again, and that's the most important thing overall. I mean, honestly, I don't think Trump is going to make it to 2024. His health isn't great, and he's quite old. So, I mean, I'm not going to put... Well, I mean, he's not a nice person, so I don't mind doing that. But either way, he can't run again, which is super, super important. It means essentially Trumpism is dead. Unless one of his kids tries to run. Now we've got a third command center coming up again. Where did the... Okay, so the third CC actually flew over to the 4th base. We've got 1A, 2A, 3A taking down the 4th base attempt by, well, it's the 5th base attempt. He does have his base up here. But look at this. 1A2A3 coming in. His work account is catching up. Now we do have a science facility here. It's no... what am I meant to say? There's no add-on just yet. But he will be able to go for something soon. A lot of SCVs being taken down here. This is super, super important. We've got more Wraiths coming over here, chasing back the tanks. This is going to scout out this base. He can't do any damage over here, but he may be able to get one of these tanks if he's lucky. No, it looks like the tank is going to get away. Oh, look at that repair, but doesn't save the tank. The Wraiths need to get away from the turret, so this is important gas. The 1A2A3 cannot be losing. And it looks like we are going to have Vultures running in here. Goliaths, tanks moving forward, trying to get in a good position. We've got a nice D-Matrix on one of the front tanks here. Not going to help out too much, but does keep that tank alive against a couple of shots there. Does save it and does mean he can trade incredibly efficiently here at the front. Looks like 1A2A3 with a tank on the high ground. Going to help be able to defend against this. But MadiNho definitely still in a solid position in this game. Now we've got +2 attack, I think this is, for MadiNho. Yeah, +2 attack coming in. No +1 armor, but I get the feeling he's more than likely going to go into ship weapons. No, he is going to go into +1 armor. I would have thought, given he had the science facility already, he may go for BCs in this position, but just playing to get more ahead. He knows if he gets ahead in upgrades, it's going to be very difficult for 1A2A3 to catch up. Now we do have the armory stopped spinning. It is 1-1 here for 1A2A3, but he never actually went for a science facility, so he cannot get +2 attack just yet. And +2 attack in TvT is by far the most important upgrade in the entire game. It allows you to 2-shot tanks rather than 3-shot them. And that is a breakpoint that you cannot deal with. Now he needs tanks up on this high ground. If he gets tanks up here, it's going to be almost impossible for MadiNho to push through here. The tank's getting here, but a little bit late. The science vessel really going to help out here. The tank's not focus firing. The Goliath taking a ton of hits here because of that, because of the defense matrix. Now Wraith is going to be able to clean up all 4 of these tanks, but at what cost? He's losing a lot of Vultures to do this as well. And MadiNho has just played this so well. Now 1A2A3 not mining from his gas just yet down here. He does have a pretty big gas bank. MadiNho continuing to spend all of his gas, all of his money incredibly well. Interesting we haven't had more dropship play here from MadiNho, but I mean realistically he's far enough ahead that he doesn't need to worry about it. We've finally got the science facility coming in here, but that could... I think it's just out of range of that tank. But you'll notice that the tank on the high ground, going to try and take this down. Will it survive? Yes, it does. What a lucky tank. Missing 2 of the shots. Does clean up that last tank there. But MadiNho is basically hoovering up more of the map. He's getting another 2 bases. And 1A2A3A is in a lot of trouble. MadiNho is essentially like 2-3 moves away from checkmating his opponent. But his opponent is trying to force a stalemate. He's just moving his king around all over the place, but we do have +2 attack finally coming in. We do have Wraiths coming in, but only off of 1 starport. If he could go for like 3 starports right now and start pumping Wraiths, he could do something about this army, but right now, he can't. Now MadiNho going for some scans, checking where the army is, sees where all of those units are. We've got the scan coming down on the other main base. 1A2A3A knows now that he's in a lot of trouble. Looks like 1A2A3A's units getting a little bit confused as well. They're going to run into the units. This is not what you want to happen. 5 Vultures are going to get up here, but kind of inconsequential. Looks like MadiNho coming in to twist the knife. This is his big, bold gambit. He's got so many units. Mines going off on the back tanks. The tanks at the front dying to purely Goliath and tank fire as well. And it's 183 supply against 120. 1A2A3 is going to try and hold on. He still does have a lot of Vultures down here. They are going to be able to stop this base from mining. Could actually send them up here to the other base, but there is a tank here. Very nicely placed to help defend against dropships. Look at this, the tanks on the high ground going to try and hold on valiantly. There are 2 Wraiths here which will allow him to push back the vessel. That will push back these tanks. And he will be able to hold on to his bases for the time being. But he's still down 60, 70 supply. Things are definitely not looking good here. This tank definitely worth its weight in gold, doing a lot of damage to help defend against this base from the vultures. 2 vultures will get in. They could kill some more SCVs, but the SCV count isn't as important at this stage because MadiNho can build like 7 SCVs at a time if he wants to, and he has the money. He's banking it up, getting ready for when he needs to remax, because he is 5 supply away from outmaxing his opponent here. That's a 19-minute max in TvT. Obviously, he's sieging up down here to try and defend his base, but the tank line not the best. Not in the best place either. It'd be better to siege them up in here so they can defend this path as well. But looks like MadiNho going to twist the knife here. 1A2, A3, definitely in too much trouble. He's down 80 supply again. Down 12 workers. He's got a big bank, but no way of circling around to his third base. And this gas is so important for him. And so are these SCVs. He's got no way of doing damage to MadiNho whatsoever. And this is just the death throes of a Terran, trying to hold on the best he can. But it's almost impossible. The mathematical advantage that MadiNho has here is unbeatable, I would say. Now the command center is going to go down. There we go. We won't even get to see that die, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. GG. 1A2, A3 taps out. MadiNho gives us game number 3. Well, he gives iRk the win in game number 3. And that'll take us into game number 4 after this short break. See you guys soon.
Yo, the
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 4, our final game of this evening. It's going to be a PvZ here on Desert Dwellers. We've had a lot of PvZ here so far. Zerg have won nearly every single game here that they've played against Protoss. But is Ruskig going to be able to stand up against Cold, or is pSi going to get the pride win at the end of the season? There we go. Let's head into game number 4. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position in the blue, fighting for iRk. As our Protoss player, it's Ruskig. And starting us up here in the top right-hand corner in the yellow, or in the green, sorry, fighting for pSi, it's Cold. Okay, so it is PvZ. Looks like we're going to be opening up with a gateway fast expand here for Ruskig. Fairly normal build these days in PvZ, but definitely a hard one to pull off. If your opponent goes for a lot of lings and you're not prepared, you can die to a ling all-in. I've seen that before in the STPL. Now, if you're wondering why the schedule's a bit weird this week, I went back to work on Monday for the first time since Christmas, so I wanted a day off. So what we're doing is Wednesday, we're going to be casting next on Friday, and then we're going to cast on Saturday as well. So we'll have 2 series Friday, 2 series Saturday, which is why we have the one today. Friday we're going to have Rev versus DM, and Net Wars versus Wiko. And then we're going to have Ash versus Red, and then Naz versus Sol. Now, there was a couple of walkovers in those series. The first walkovers of Season 4, I mean, it is the first week after the break, so I don't blame the players. But essentially, Narsil got a walkover over Sandra in Rev versus DM, so Rev will be starting 1-0 up. And Striker didn't show up, so Sol are going to get a 1-0 up lead over Naz to begin with. But both the walkover games are set on different days, so we won't have a super short day and a super long day. We'll just have 2 fairly normal STPL days, I think. Should be a lot of fun. Now, Ruskig getting ready to push forward with, well, I would say that he's probably getting ready to push forward with the Zealots, but looks like he's not going to, using them purely for defense back at home. This is actually Ruskig's, I think it's one of his first games in the STPL. Yeah, he's played once before. He played in Season 2 on New Tornado when he played against Bull. He lost to Ugox there, so that was a PvP. Of course, this is a EVP, but a lot of lings coming out here for Cold. Cold definitely looking forward to gear up to doing a little bit of an attack here. He doesn't have ling speed coming in, so it's not a super all-in or anything like that, but this is going to hurt his drone count. He's only on 9 drones currently. Looks like he is going to engage the Zealots in the middle of the map. Not taking the best engagement to begin with, but of course the Zealots are going to be quite low on health as well by the time they do get there, and they're not going to be able to push across the map. But this is really nice micro by Ruskig. Like, I don't know if it's just Zealots are really easy to micro against Zerglings, but all of the Protoss players in STPL seem really good at microing versus Zealots. The probe train managed to take out one of those lings. More links heading on over. Looks like link speed was actually already... No, it wasn't. Link speed confuses me so much. These look like they're running fast, and I don't know why. But link speed almost done. But the Zealots are quite low on health, so this is a bit of a difficult situation for Ruskig. He doesn't have his first cannon yet. He needs to get this cannon up, or he's going to start to full falter to the Ling counterattack here. But looks like the Ling's trying to get in, trying to get on top of the cannon, still trying to move on forward, but Zealot and Probes blocking the best they can. And Cold might be in a lot of trouble here. Cold is going for an all-in. And I don't think this all-in is going to work out, but looks like he is going to be able to get in. Cold getting into the main base with 5 speedlings, a very, very big deal here. No cannon in the main base. Both of the pylons should be going down here. He needs to kill the probes, though. The probes are killing his lings. He doesn't want that happening. But looks like Ling's getting into the natural as well. The second cannon going down along with the first. And I think this could very well be game over with no cannons to defend. This Nexus is going to be forfeit. The first Zealot, since the attack, is going to come out and get surrounded pretty much immediately. And I think this could be game over here. Looks like the probes have been pulled. Cold looks like he's going to take a win over iRk here. Very good win for Cold, but it's always sad to see Protoss players die to Ling all-ins, because I die to Ling all-ins a lot as Terran. And it feels worse for Protoss, I think, because if they don't have a cannon, it's game over. Like, if you lose your first cannon, you're just dead. Like, you can't do anything. You know, he can go for a cannon in his main base, which he's going to, but he's gone for this incredibly late. This is kind of like the, I'm going to try and hold on the best I can. Oh no, I'm going to die cannon, so I better build it. And look at this, the Lings are getting on top of it again. This is an unwinnable situation for Ruskig. Very well done by Cold, coming in with a very clinical, well-timed Ling all-in. Still only on 8 drones, by the way, is Cold. He's actually used one of his drones to get a third hatchery, which just says just how far ahead that Cold is, even with 8 drones. Like, it's kind of crazy. The Gateway has taken a lot of damage. The Forge is about to go down. The Nexus and the Natural is very low as well. But there's still 21 probes.
They pushed me out and MACED me. They pushed me out and MACED me. They pushed me out and MACED me. They pushed me out and MACED me.
Thank you, Dave, for the resub, man. I can't believe they pushed me out and maced me. Animaniacs, man. That's the funniest thing that came out of the riots from the Capitol thing. If you guys haven't seen it, someone posted on Reddit, I think it was. It was basically someone timed that woman being interviewed when she had like an onion in a towel, like crying to the interviewer, saying that they pushed me out and maced me, and they like edited to fit the Animaniacs theme. It was really, really good. But either way, that is going to be the final game of today. Cold does take a kind of a bittersweet win there at the end of the series. It does happen. Cold is very, very glad he would have got that win though, because any win is a good win. But basically, Agge taking down Prase in game 1, vOddy taking down Michael in game 2, MadiNho taking down 1A2A3A in game 3, and Cold getting a little bit of pride back for pSi, not going to go out for 0. He's going to be feeling glad about that. Definitely should do as well. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back on Friday. Once again, Rev versus DM, Net Wars versus Wiko. Tune in at 2100 CET, 2000 GMT. It is 5 AM KST if Castamuse is around. He is the only crazy person in Korea to stay up and watch the STPL. But we'll see you guys then. Have a very good evening. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here.